What is going on, guys? It's RS Vaughn, fresh haircut, ready for the new Chair Guys podcast episode. I'm with my co-host,
Anthony or Spiked.
yeah, and I'm with a very special guest as well. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yo, my name's Quay. Some people call me Yo though, or the Crinksta. I don't know how you know me.
You're
Many names.
yeah,
but
you're very legendary to those who don't know. Maybe the name Arabic Walter White brings something to
Mm.
mind.
back
Quay is
some
also yeah. Quay is also he's in our group illegal iPhone, so he's brother for life, you know what I'm saying? That's how it rolls in
iPhone
illegal
squad.
iPhone.
Okay.
iPhone squad, yeah. Okay. But anyways, we're here to talk about fucking
Here to
music.
talk about
ladies and
music.
gentlemen. We're gonna talk about music.
Album dropped. Surprise.
Album?
Bit of a surprise drop.
It was definitely
like
a surprise.
day
It was a complete
beforehand,
surprise. Yeah, complete surprise.
Dreamville is back after the legendary Revenge of the Dreamers 3. That was a big moment, and they kind of just come back with like another label mixtape. It's just like some like hella people on it and just like showcasing the label and stuff. So D-Day, what's the official a Gangster Girls mixtape?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's got DJ Drama on it, so that's nice.
And DJ Drama is on it. And I'll just open it up by saying this thing sucks ass, bro. This
Okay,
is some dick, dude. Like,
there's some
Dude,
dick.
I'm not gonna
alright.
lie. Like, maybe that's a little harsh, but like,
yeah, it's harsh because
uh,
there's like at least one or two good songs.
there's a few good songs, and there's definitely even on some of the bad songs, like there's some good
Yeah.
performances, and I just think Stick was already like I really like Stick. I think it was really hype opener, and I think Sheck West is kind of the highlight of the whole tape for me.
Yeah,
The way
for
he comes in, and the instrumental on that track is kind of amazing. Like it's just really
Yeah.
like fucking cool. And then it was a bad sign when J. Cole comes in, and I don't know if you guys notice it, but his verse is mixed so fucking loud. Like it like jump scared me, and it sounds horrible. Like he had a good verse, but they somehow fucked up the mixing so bad. And then that was just a bad sign. And then from there it just kind of went downhill. Like Ghetto Gods freestyle, it's like okay, Earth Gang and 2 Chainz did pretty good, but like the beat is kind of just like ass.
It's just so
Like,
weird. That was like
it's
a
just,
weird
like,
beat.
Lifestyle I thought was really good too, and Starting 5, but then like from that point on it was just like some very uninteresting beats and underwhelming performances, and like I don't know who let Reason on a song. Like that was just like like I don't know who let Reason on a song, bro. Like that was unfortunately, the 2 Chainz, Young Nudie, and JID track I was really excited for, and that ended up being like one of the worst songs because the beat is just so trash. Like I don't know why they.
Bro, the nudie feature was like 10 seconds long. I was so disappointed.
Yeah. No, and the thing
They're
is also,
underutilizing him.
bro, these beats on here, like, come the fuck on, dude. There's some of the most generic ass, like,
Yeah.
I dead ass could search up how to make a boom bap beat in fucking,
Dreamville type beat.
like, Dreamville type
Dreamville
beat.
type beat.
Yes, these sound like Dreamville type beats that some motherfucker who, like, opened up FL and made it in, like, 5 minutes would show you.
Mhm.
Like, they're so bad and they're so underwhelming. And also,
You know-
another thing. Oh, go ahead, Quay. Go ahead.
The last song had Working on Dying production. Like I heard the I'm working on dying, and I was like, yes, it's gonna be nice. And then it was like, yeah.
Bro, no, I actually love that beat.
You
It's
did?
from it's from Certified Lover Boy, and J. Cole
Oh.
dropped this like a month or two ago as like a remix of that song. I do think Drake does better on it, but
Mhm.
I actually do really like that beat. It's just like after the rest of the album, it's kind of like it's
Yeah.
another like boom bappy type beat. It might not sound as good.
No, it's just like a lot of
Context,
these
like-
beats are fucking forgettable. I don't remember any of
Mhm.
them. Like I listened to this thing twice, and I don't remember any of them. But then you go, and this is kind of my main gripe. You go listen to something like Revenge of the Dreamers 3, right? There's some fire ass fucking songs there. Yes, maybe
Yeah.
there's some songs that are like kind of fat to the album, and you could just cut them off
Mhm.
like some tracks. But like with this, it's like 90% fat. Every single time there's like a guest feature that isn't in the Dreamville camp, it's easily the best part of the song.
Yeah.
2 Chainz on Ghetto Gods Freestyle, Sheck West on Stick, even 2 Chainz on Barry from Simpson, which by the way, what a
Yep.
terrible fucking title for us. Barry from Simpson? I don't like that. I don't like that title. That sounds stupid. Like
That's kinda
grammatically that
stupid.
sounds stupid. But like and also another gripe I have is Ari Lennox. I'm sorry. She is so underwhelming as a vocalist.
I don't like her at all, dude.
No, she
Like at least not on this album, because
Yes.
I remember listening to an album from her a few years ago, and I don't remember it. Like it wasn't terrible, but like for some reason this album, both of her songs, especially "Coming Down," I just find kind of unbearable. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why.
She
Like,
just
her voice
isn't
is just, like,
unique
not
in
that
in
good.
any way. She doesn't bring anything to the table. And I hate to start making the comparisons, but like it has to be brought up. When we look at like a TDE compared to like a Dreamville, who's their vocalist that does the female vocalist? It's SZA.
SZA,
SZA's
yeah.
fucking great. She's unique.
SZA is,
She hops on beautiful production. But then we have Ari Lennox, and it's just oh my god, dude, I'm so bored. I'm so bored
So
listening to her.
bored. Yeah.
But then like and the fact that J. Cole is only on this thing on track 7, like bro took a big fucking
And that
like
track is not that good either.
It's
no,
not.
he's only on 2 songs, which on if we go to like Revenge of the Dreamers, he's on quite a lot of them, and he does great on Revenge of the Dreamers.
He's
like
yeah, he has 2 solo songs, and I think they're a step above some of the songs where it's just like fucking.
yeah, he has like Middle Child, which is
Forgettable.
technically I mean Middle Child is one of his best songs.
Yeah, I was talking about this album, but
Oh yeah,
he
yeah.
definitely he shines on Revenge of the Dreamers 3. On like Down Bad is like one of my favorite. J. Cole verses
Everyone
on there.
does. I can't remember a single person's verse on this other than the features that come on.
Even
Honestly.
JID, who I think killed it on Revenge of the Dreamers 3, and I love him as a rapper. Like he just had some relatively underwhelming verses.
Yeah. And
I
also
think-
just like I want to say like I feel like the cover was like foreshadowing to this album just kind of being a hot mess because like as much as you want to save on that the album cover is hard, like I get it, it's paying
funny.
homage
It's
to
just
Gangsta
funny.
Grills,
It's pretty funny.
but it's just funny.
I
Yeah.
like it, but it's definitely not. Like,
There are amazing Gangsta
definitely
Grill
kind of
covers.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, there are amazing Gangsta
Also,
Grill covers.
DJ Drama was so lame on this album.
Oh my
Like,
God,
it feels
yeah.
like
Yeah.
they brought him in last second to just like talk on the end of the beat, and then
Yeah.
it was just like really lame shit. Like it
Because
wasn't
like look
anything-
at how
on
like
Call Me If You Get Lost, he's utilized
exactly
so well.
exactly what I was gonna say. He's
Yeah.
it seems like it was made for him, like with him in mind. Whereas this is just like that one part where he's talking. What's that one part where he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you on here, some shit like that. I forget. He was like, we're gonna rob you or something like that. I was like, why? Like, what is this? Like,
He was
I
like,
forget
no-
where it is.
He sounds so fucking tired. Like he's just like.
Like, he's got
He's
a
like, close your eyes.
Yeah, he
Close
was
your
like,
eyes. Imagine
it's-
your wildest dreams, and
It's
you
a-
still couldn't do as good as this.
Like, does he do any production or anything on this album, or is he just like talking?
I
I,
don't-
actually
no, I
didn't
don't
look.
think so.
I don't know. Yeah,
I
No, but
don't
it-
think he does production in general.
He
they
didn't
sound like they
create it.
fucking. They sound like they trapped him in the studio, and then at the end when they were like, "Okay, we got the song done. Say what the fuck you want." He's like, "Okay," and he's like, "That's it." Like, it's fucking hilarious, dude.
Oh
I don't know.
my
It's
God.
just it's
I
so
think that
disappointing. It's so
The
disappointing.
main problem with this album, it just feels like a bunch of Dreamville artists like leftover songs, and then they got maybe like a rapper or two to get on. Also, most of the verses sound like the first take, especially on Stick. Stick could have been such an amazing song. I feel like the second half of Sheck West's verse and like JID, like the flows are just like a little sloppy. It feels like they just went in and did one take and they were like out of there. One thing with Revenge of the Dreamers 3, like it kind of has that energy to it, but I think it works in the album's favor because of the whole context of it, of being like
Exactly. Yeah.
everyone just came in. This one just feels like they're trying to recapture the energy, but it doesn't work because it's just like uninteresting beats and like they don't have the same energy and the same like amount of features coming in, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. It's just they couldn't do it. Couldn't pull it
These
off.
Yeah.
rappers like Loot, like Omen, like Cuz, like they all just kind of like sound the same. Like,
Yeah.
and also like some of these tracks are like 4 minutes and 30 seconds long, and it's just them rapping and some like spoken like word hook. No, I mean like rapped hook. You know, like it's just so
Yeah.
boring. Like they can't carry a song for like that. These rappers like
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Like,
needed.
I'm I'm sorry, but like Lou and Reason are just really boring
Reason is
artists.
ass. You
Reason
did
is
say
garbage.
you said you said that every time it's someone not from Dreamville coming on, that it's like the best part. That is definitely a major exception because Reason is like the worst feature on the fucking album, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
Hair
wait,
Salon
Reason's not
was
even in
like
Dreamville. Reason's not
no,
even
I
in.
think he's
Oh, he's
TDE,
on
right?
TDE.
Yeah.
Oh, what? I thought
He's
because he's on Revenge of the Dreamers 3 too, and I'm just like, okay, this dude's just in his camp, I guess.
Hair
Yeah.
Salon, I actually thought like the beat was like it was a little like I wasn't hating it, you know, like it was all right. And then he came on, it was like he was like
He's just like wiping
I
shit
don't
on the
know.
walls. Like I don't know. I can't stand these rappers. Just they don't have unique voices. J. Cole,
Yeah.
He's
at
wiping
least you can
shit, dude.
attest to J. Cole having a unique voice, at
Exactly.
least. But then Loot,
Yeah.
Reason, Boz, I guess,
J.
kind of
Cole-
has a unique voice.
Boz, I
Boz,
like
Yeah,
Boz.
Boz.
I
yeah,
think
Boz is fine.
his voice kind of sound like he kind of doesn't have a super unique voice, but I think he just does it the best out of all of them.
Yeah,
And then JID and J. Cole obviously have unique voices.
Yeah.
Earth Gang is really cool.
but
Even though
JID
they're kind of hit or
only.
miss on this album. But
The only thing is JID only really sounds good on like projects where it's. I just think they don't use him correctly on this album.
yeah, I don't think he fit on Stick. Like,
With these
like, his
simplistic
verse
ass
is kinda-
yeah, with these simplistic ass beats, it does not sound good because then Jid just sounds like a squeaking fucking mouse. Like I don't like it. I don't care for it. It's
I
just
kind of
I-
feel you, yeah.
and I'm so critical of it because like I used to love Dreamville. I used to love J. Cole. But like their output recently has just been so fucking trash. Like Revenge of the Dreamers 3 was like the last good project. I'm sorry, I don't
I
like
really like the off season, but
I did not like
I'm
the
not
off
a-
I
season.
don't like the off season.
I don't like
Really?
the off
Okay.
season.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't tap into like any other Dreamville artists other than Cole and JID.
Yeah, I mean I only
JID's been fucking gone for like 3
Yeah.
years. So-
Yeah,
Yeah.
facts. I peeped the last Earth Gang album. I actually like Earth Gang. Like they're
I do like
they're
Earth
new
Gang.
land.
I didn't hear the last one.
I forgot about Earth Gang entirely too. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just
Like Mirrorland was pretty cool, but their last album is just like the same thing. It was just
Yeah,
Dreamville
I
type
really
beat.
I like Mirrorland a lot when it came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty good.
but it's just
But
like
the last ones.
this just it feels like this was rushed, low-key, because I feel like if they actually cared, they wouldn't have done like a surprise drop and just been like, here you go. Like that
This
doesn't
felt like-
seem.
This felt like if Guap Chat tried to do Guap Tape 2, like they try to just
Yeah.
recapture the energy, like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like this is
No,
just like
I
Guap
definitely
Tape
get
2.
that because Dreamville they seem like a calculated group of people. Look how they did the rollout for Revenge of the Dreamers 3. They had a
Yeah.
fucking documentary for it, like, and that's a fun documentary to watch. Like that's
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, it's
really
cool.
fucking cool. And then we got a lot of these songs, and then you had jammers that defined the summer, like Under the Sun, and you had like Down Bad, and you had like
Down
Costa
Bad is so
Rica.
good.
I remember was like a really big song. Like a lot of these songs were defining people's summers, right? But this is gonna come
Yeah,
and go,
this-
and who
this
gives
is-
a fuck?
I've already forgotten about it. So
I've already forgotten about it too,
Yeah.
and I don't care about it. But like,
yeah.
I don't know, dude. It's just kind of disappointing with like Dreamville's like fall off, cause the two big camps of I guess like these artists that people love to gas up are Dreamville and TDE. TDE's been long since fucking gone. Kendrick is doing what the fuck?
Kendrick
like-
hasn't dropped in 5 years, and then he's gonna leave TDE after this.
yeah,
album.
and then
Mhm.
SZA
TDE
is
is
like
dead.
I don't remember when the last time SZA
I think
dropped.
Schoolboy Q is dropping soon. He was hitting.
Yeah,
something, but-
Schoolboy Q is hitting, but like none. And then we had I guess the most recent drop was from Isaiah Rashad. And
yeah.
what was the last fucking
Right.
time he dropped other than this last time? You know what I'm saying?
Long ass
Like,
time ago.
it was a long ass time since like his debut and then Sylvia demo and shit like that. So it's just that like the output from these two groups that people love to pedestal so much are just so lackluster
They've
right
just
now.
fallen off. Yeah.
They've just fallen
It's
off,
just not
and
the same. Not
I
the
just think it
same
shows, yeah, like
environment it was like a few years ago.
Mhm.
yeah, and I think it just shows that like these big groups, like the idea of like a hip hop group, just really doesn't work as much anymore. It's interesting to think about because it's like look at some other hip hop groups that are like collectives, I guess, that they kind of want to pair themselves with. You have like Slay World, you have like RCB. You know what
I
I'm
was
saying?
not expecting you to say Slay World, bro.
I know,
I
but
thought
then
you were
look,
gonna go back and say like Wu Tang and like.
no, because I'm getting there. Because I'm getting there. We're talking about the modern era right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then go
Yeah.
back and we have a Tribe Called Quest, fucking masters. We have Gangstar, fucking masters. Wu-Tang. Yeah, exactly. We have all of these groups, and they were so powerful.
So much chemistry.
But then it got to a point where Wu Tang couldn't even be Wu Tang anymore. It got to a point where, well, to be fair, Tribe can still be Tribe. I'd say they're the one that
Tribe-
are kind of the outliers.
I think Wu-Tang is still like. I mean, they
No.
just don't have to
They ju-
try and make a great.
Yeah, but their
album
output
anymore
is
'cause
not
they're
nearly
just
as good.
legendary.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're out.
Yes,
And if Dreamville, like their output was really good by like Revenge of the Dreamers 3, then they fucking just fell off immediately. I just for some reason I think that like hip hop groups cannot really they're not very viable nowadays. And I guess it's different because this is like a label kind of thing. But like even then, like you look at like a Slay World and like an RCB, and it's just that like I don't know. I'm just kind of
Well,
underwhelmed
yeah,
by
they're
it.
not mainstream. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
they're not
sort
mainstream.
of-
It's understandable, but like I don't
It's
know, man.
different.
I'm
But
just
yeah,
so
I don't know.
disappointed with how this has gone.
I'm like I didn't even I went into it not expecting much and I was still disappointed because it's just like
Yeah, well, to be fair, I didn't go into. Yeah, I'm exactly the same, but still, I at least expect like maybe a good J Cole verse. Like
we got a good J Cole verse. It was just
was
like the
weird.
mixing
Heaven's
was
EP is
shit on
fine.
it.
Yeah, I mean
No,
Heaven's.
I really
Reading
like
a
the
speech.
stick verse. I really like the stick verse. It was just like
I couldn't remember it. I couldn't attest to it.
In my notes
Okay.
for Stick, I said fire except J. Cole. So
really
yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I just. Oh my god, man. I don't even know, bro. It's and I guess they're doing it because the Dreamville Festival is happening this weekend. I guess.
Oh,
There's like
I
some.
didn't even know
There's
that.
there's some festival going on in like North
they
Carolina.
fucking failed every.
That makes
like,
sense.
They do it. They do
just
it every
shit the
year.
bed, bro. They
Yeah,
shit the bed, bro.
They do it every year, and it's just that like also did the title D-Day. Like I'm sorry, bro. Like really, like Dreamville Day.
It's
Like
the cover art's so funny too.
Like there's the fucking plane crashing and shit, and like JID is like holding up like like I don't even know, dude. Like
It's so silly, dude.
oh my, and then Boz is just sitting there looking like fucking like a discount Rick Ross. Like he's looking like Walmart Rick Ross with the fucking
all
ice on.
pictures like everybody knows, and they're just like repainted. They're not even like original pictures. Like it's just so
Yeah, nah, it's so goofy, dude. And like
Yeah.
you look at that rating average on Rate Your Music, and it's just like holy shit, dude. Like it's like a
I had to put Ray
2.6.
music into it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think many people are even listening to this project.
Yeah, it has.
It came
It's
in,
true.
it came so quickly and there was like no hype to it compared to like
Yeah, it has
Revenge of the Dreamers and-
216 ratings.
That's like nothing for like their like.
Bro, Guap Tape has more than that shit, bro. Like that's sad. That's pretty bad. That's just wow. I don't know. It's crazy to see how they fell from fame, low key. Not even really. I guess
Well,
that's
not,
kind of
not even.
yeah.
It's just
That's
they
stretching.
they
yeah.
flopped the drop and the album was ass and
Yeah,
just yeah, I don't know.
it's
was
just
like,
it's crazy. But I guess we can move on to maybe favorite tracks. I suppose.
I do have some favorite tracks.
Okay,
Um,
give me your favorites.
I really liked Lifestyle with A$AP Ferg and
Mhm.
Boz. I
love
like
Ferg.
Starting 5. I like the beat switch on the end of that, and I liked Stick. So
Yeah.
Stick, the beat was the beat and Sheck West's verse on Stick were like the highlight of this album for me.
It's
loved that.
yeah, and to mention, nice to see Sheck West kind of doing something. I
Yeah.
don't remember the last time I heard Sheck West on anything other than Mud Boy.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's probably
It's been
done
a
some
while.
features, but like probably on like the Don Toliver project last year that I didn't give a fuck to listen to. So
Damn.
I don't even think he was on that.
yeah, probably not. Let's I can check. But Quay, give me your top 3.
Stick, Lifestyle, because I said Ferg is a classic guy. Like I just love him. Like
Ferg
went off.
he's so funny.
Yeah.
And let's see. I'm gonna be honest. I like Barry from Simpson just because I like 2 Chainz a lot. But
Yep.
That's
it's
fair.
not great either. It's better than all the other songs.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yeah, and my top 3 is very much with a grain of salt because I don't care for a majority of these tracks. But I'll take Stick because yes, Sheck West. I'm gonna take Barry from Simpson because the 2 Chainz verse is fire as fuck. Like 2 Chainz has been going hard for so many years now. Like shout out to him. He's
Yeah.
he's low key underrated.
One of the
Yeah,
best
that's-
feature artists.
Yeah,
of all
definitely
time.
one of the best feature art. Like on the Drake song, fuck, why can't I remember? It's I got many things. What the fuck is that song?
Oh.
I cannot complain. I cannot.
Homie,
Yeah,
homie,
yeah,
came up, that's on me.
yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
that song is so fire. And then I'll take. I guess I'll take probably Lifestyle then actually. Yeah,
I
I'll
really
take that.
liked Lifestyle actually. I thought like as a complete song it was probably like the best song
Yeah.
like as far as like there
Yeah.
wasn't really any flaws with it. It was just a pretty good.
Yeah,
like,
and actually
banger.
my prediction, the next come up rap group is gonna be OVO. Drake, he's got Smiley. Holy shit, dude.
Smiley is so fire, dude.
Smiley is
I'm
fire.
excited
I'm not
for
hip.
Smiley.
Smiley is fire.
You gotta tap in, bro.
Prada and Gucci, don't do that. Bro, that song was fucking insane. Bro, I'd listen to that song like 10
Okay.
times a day. Okay. But we're moving on from this disaster class of an album, this fucking D-Day of an
Disaster
album.
class. It was, yeah,
Yes.
fitting title.
D-Day of an album. Let's move on to the Twitter picked album. We're gonna give a big shout out to Funnel. I think it's their first time winning, maybe. So big shout outs to you
Shout out to
for
her.
getting your first W on the board. And the album they suggested was LP1 by FKA Twigs. All right, and I'm actually gonna open it up now because I feel like I need to speak on it because I'm gonna be real. The only time I've ever listened to FKA Twigs was on the 645 AR song, which is, by the way,
Fire.
one of the best songs of all
I
time.
love that
Mind you.
song.
That
song
song
is amazing, dude.
That song, bro, she
Something
did
About
great.
You.
Something About You, and then the music video where she's dressed like Asuka. Hold on now. Let's slow. Like I was like, damn,
Slow
who is
down.
this?
She's literally
know of
playing
her.
like an OnlyFans cam
Yeah,
girl on
yeah.
in that video. So.
Like I know of FK Twigs, but like, hold on now, I need a peeper. But the thing was, that sounds wrong. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be real. Like I was like, I'm gonna listen to her. I never did until now, and I finally listened to her for the first time, one of her albums, and I'm gonna be real. It's really good. I think I can firmly say it's really good, but I don't think I'm really gonna return to this. And I think my main reason is that like this album has a lot of moments where it's like she's on this like very big maximalist like grandiose production, but I like her when she's on like minimalist stuff, like kind of like Preface or like Lights On, where she's letting her voice take up a majority of the space and the production is being kind of like the laid back kind of thing. But then there's like some songs, I believe like Hours maybe, and like Video Girl, where it's just like the production is so in your face, and it's like for me it's like it's like overwhelming almost, because it's like she has such a pretty voice and she's someone who I just want to see her. I want to see her take up the space. I don't want to see the production. And that's not to say that the production isn't good on this album. It's really good, but I think it's almost distracting and it takes away from her voice on this project. Because of another contemporary that I kind of think of is like Solange, and I absolutely like I love her so much. And the thing that I love about her so much is that you listen to a project like the name with Almeda on it. Yeah, When I Get Home. It was in a project like When I Get Home. That album has like some of the most sparse production ever. Literally, like Almeda is so sparse, right? That is what I want to hear. That is my example of like what would make a good project in this kind of style, is because it's like we have this idea of like a very beautiful fucking vocalist who is super unique, and they're the one that's taking up the majority of the album. That's what I want to see. But with this, I didn't really get that. But nonetheless, like I think thematically what she's talking about is very touching, and it was very interesting to listen to. I got it like on first listen with like Lights On and stuff like that. Like that was beautiful. Like I will give her that. It's a very good project. I just think that like I don't see myself returning to it because of some tracks, and even the ones that I really do like, they don't stick with me all too much. But nonetheless, like it's a really good project. But yeah, I want to hand it over to Quay because I know Quay had some stuff to say before we started rolling. And I'm interested to hear.
So, I've listened to this album 3 times now. I listened to it once like a year ago, and then twice yesterday. And each time it kind of like progressively grew on me. Like at first, like I just didn't really care for like how I have this thing where like if something's really overproduced, I'm probably not gonna like it. That's exactly what you were saying. It's very maximal and so produced. And I still don't love that stuff, but I think her voice and melodies are what really pull me into this album. Like
100%, yeah.
I just like, even though Video Girl is like one of those songs that's so produced, it is such a product of like pop from the mid 2010s, but like just the melodies have just stuck in my head all day. She girl from the video. Like I don't know, it's just the melodies. I like her. Like it's just
exactly, yeah.
production for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and I think that's just that like the thing. And I'm gonna have to check out her later discography because I don't know if you guys have listened, but like maybe she
I
does
have.
have like an album where it's like really sparse in production.
I
You
think
know,
Magdalene's a little more sparse than
Magdalene.
most.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll definitely check that out because nonetheless, like I could see her having like one of my favorite albums ever, because she has a such a beautiful and unique voice. But it's just the production is just it just holds it back for me. And when I look at the like genre tags, like you have like art pop, alternative R&B, but then you have like wonky and then trip hop and then deconstructive club. Those are all genres I fucking love so much. But it just doesn't hit the mark for me on this album.
Mhm.
I believe like it's the consensus that like Magdalene is her better project, I believe. Like is that
It's
not
Wait, yeah.
is it still kind
it's
of like
split.
contested?
It's split. It's
Okay.
contested, I would
Okay,
say.
yeah, because like I don't know, I'm probably gonna have to listen to Magdalene in that case because
Um, I definitely like Magdalene better.
okay.
I would say I kind of it's interesting because I kind of had a definitely a different experience than you two because I love the production on this
Mhm.
and I do love her voice. I think I agree with Anthony that they kind of don't mesh very well. They kind of take away from each other. I think my main problem with this album was the songwriting and the melodies just did not grip me at all.
Mhm.
Like songwriting is in lyrics. The lyrics were great, but
Mhm.
I didn't have any problem with the lyrics. But as far as like just like making a song interesting, like it felt like nothing really went anywhere interesting for me. There were no hooks that really grabbed me, and like I just like I really like the production and like the sounds of this. Like really, like the highlight is just like the soundscape and just like her voice. It sounds really cool and like these drums sound really cool and like these
Mhm.
sounds and shit. But I don't know. It just like it just didn't grab me in any way that would have me like returning to this album. Like there were I think like Pendulum had a cool hook and like Video
Yeah.
Girl, but I don't know. It just like it just kind of goes through me. Like I listened twice for this video, and each time I just kind of I just had trouble recalling like how this song went and like stuff like that. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
like this
go
this
ahead.
album for me, like I don't want to say it's airy because it's not airy at all. It's very produced. It's not sparse, but like it's airy in a way where it just kind of like goes through me. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels like in one ear and out the other, just like
Yeah,
airy in
yeah,
that sense. I don't know
definitely
if
her
you.
voice I'd say is like kind of airy. Like she does have a lot of brevity and kind of like almost like gusto to it, you know, when she hits
Yeah,
those
and
high
it's
notes and stuff.
it's not something that holds me very well, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah,
much
because
it.
I think of like my favorite like vocalists, and I think of like Sade, and in that case, like Sade, her voice carries a lot of weight and stuff like that, and like that's what I love to hear in like
Hmm.
a an artist, and she's also just very unique. But it's just that like I do agree with Vaughn that this project just kind of like goes through me, and then that's about it. It goes in one ear and out the other. But at the end of the day, I can still appreciate a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can still
yeah, for
appreciate
sure.
how cool her voice is. But I'm overwhelmed, but I'm underwhelmed at the same time in very different
Exactly.
Hmm.
aspects.
That's a good way to
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like it's so much happening and I feel like the strengths of the album are not like it's kind of hard to explain,
The
but
strengths
it's just
are
like
not the part where
there
it's
are really
overwhelming.
cool parts that are not pointed in the right direction. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's just like the production is my favorite part, but it doesn't work with everything else in the album.
Yeah, it
It
doesn't
doesn't
work
work with the
with her
songwriting. It
voice.
doesn't work
Yeah.
with her voice,
Yeah.
and I love her voice. It's just like the songwriting's not working with it, and then
Hmm.
it's just like everything is just like there's some really cool parts of it, and it just doesn't mesh well for me.
Yeah. And I actually will agree with Quay like she has the potential to create a great melody and stuff like that and some hooks cuz like yeah, there's some stuff on like Lights On that like I can still remember like the
Hmm.
lights on. It's like it does stick in your head a little bit. But like I just I don't know. I'm just really just underwhelmed with this album because it just kind of comes and goes. Um, and it feels kind of harsh to say because on this album she's talking about a lot of deep things about like, um, I believe like what like isn't the story that like she was a stripper and that could be Magdalene maybe, but like I don't know on this album she's talking about a lot of things somewhat about sex and intimacy and stuff like that.
Of course, yeah.
But it's just that like it doesn't grip me in any way, and I think it's because of the songwriting, Vaughn, that you're right. That's just
Yeah,
that
no,
like
it was. I was listening and it's just like the melodies. I was trying. First time I listened yesterday, I was trying to figure out like why it wasn't staying with me, and then the second time I was just like, yeah, it's just like I listened to the song and there's no like cool melodies or anything, and there's no like cool like song structure, and it's just like very bland to me in that way, even though it's weird because the soundscape and her voice is so unique and interesting, and then it's just the songwriting's like very bland. Like I feel like
Yeah.
if you took these songs and made them more minimal and just kind of had like a normal ass singer on them, like it would like be very boring. And
Yeah, I
I
agree. It's
still I'm
all
still a little bored by it. Like I really like the sound, so it's not a bad album by any means. I still
No, it isn't. Yeah.
it,
mhm.
like yeah, I wouldn't call it bad at all, but
I
it
think
just doesn't really hold my attention.
it's the structure of the songs. They're way too loose, and that's why it kind of
Yeah.
just feels like it's going through you. It's because all the structure is just so loose in this album, and I think
Yeah.
that's the problem.
And
It's
I
just that.
really like Magdalene. I think it's a little more experimental, and the weird parts of it kind of help it out more because it I feel like it leans more into the weird parts of of her sound, and
Mm.
I think it just kind of strengthens them instead of like focusing on songwritings, because like this is kind of like a pop album. It tries to be, but it doesn't really. It's just like being pulled in two different directions, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it feels like it almost feels like a studio was telling her like, I like what you have here, but let's add a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm
I
not
don't
trying to
know.
ruin her
Yeah.
vision, but like it kind of does feel like that because at times there's like these really minimal tracks, but these big grandiose moments, and I'm just like, but I don't want that from you. Like, and I don't really want to be like going against her vision, but it's just that like it doesn't do much for me. And I wish I could enjoy something because it's like, bro, I love fucking Some About You, and I love the way she sings on that track. You know, it's
Her voice
that
is
sticks in my head.
amazing. Like
Yeah, her
I
voice
don't
is
Mhm.
think
amazing.
anyone's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really don't think anyone can say otherwise. Maybe you can find it annoying, but like it's still really good. And I remember Some About You so much because she has such a sticky melody on there. Like I fucking love, makes me waggle my finger a little bit. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
bro. That
But
was
just
vile.
I'm sorry. But I just, yeah, I don't know. I wish I got more from this project than what I kind of did. And I listened to it like 2 to 3 times. And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish there was a bit more. But
I have a question. I have one
what's up?
question for
What's your one?
Vaughn.
Ooh, yeah.
I know Vaughn did not like the last FKA Twigs album, but
Yeah.
those albums are very different. Like I feel like that was like a pop album where she was making pop
That
songs.
was definitely a pop. I think
But, like,
that's another case where like her songwriting just falls flat,
mm,
and the production was not interesting on there. So it kind of was like everything went wrong with that for me. Like I just didn't connect with like any of it except like her voice was really cool.
Yeah.
So
And another thing I want to think about is that like when it comes to pop, I can't think of many times where like an overproduced track is like really good. And I want to like, do y'all feel like
well, yeah. I mean, overproduced is already a negative thing because it's just like
that's
too
true,
much
but like
production. Yeah.
you can have such a large amount of production and it pay off so well. Like for instance, an artist that I think of that does so much production that you could say it. Well, I guess maybe not overproduced, but it's just that like one person that comes to mind, and I'm gonna be reaching here, but like Igloo Ghost, for example,
mm,
his shit feels like, oh my god, there's so much fucking going on. And it's almost overwhelming, but to the sense where it's like overwhelming that it's so fucking cool that it's happening, because it's like a what the fuck kind of moment
yeah.
Yeah.
where it's like to the point where like, because I also think of last year, or technically it came out this year, I forgot, this rollout has been atrocious, but Charlie XCX Crash, that's overproduced as fuck.
Mhm.
That's so fucking bad. And we're talking about an artist who is adjacent to PC music and hyperpop and stuff like that. And even that project sounds overproduced. And I think maybe it's because of the testament to the idea that like it's like kind of stale almost. But this project, I don't think it's stale. More so, it's just that like it's just overwhelming, but it's not an overwhelming to it's like where it's like what the fuck, this is so cool kind of thing. It's just simply overwhelming for me. Um, So yeah, I don't know. It's just I can't think in recent memory of like pop artists who have production that is so large and kind of almost like
And
all
like
encompassing.
grandiose
Yeah, and grandiose that it
and
pays off
fills your
really well.
Mhm.
ears.
Yeah, that it pays
I
off
mean,
really
yeah.
well.
Like when you said that, the first thing I thought of was All of the Lights, and
Yeah,
that's just completely different from this. Like that's not even in the same ballpark, so it's kind of like a moot
yeah.
point. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anything. I definitely like. I think just the melodies are not strong enough to stand on their own, so the production kind of has to come in and fill the gap a little bit.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm not sure if I would like more minimal production on this album. Like I'm really not sure, but maybe I don't know. It's definitely a point to be made that like there's just too much going on. I think
Mhm.
that's like the main thing.
Yeah, when
Um,
you have pop music, like at least what I look for in pop music is not it's not about the production. It's all about like, the melodies. It's all about
yeah,
the structure.
for
And
sure.
this fails to be a pop album in that regard. I mean, some people could like it, like this. It's so unique. Like I can see why people would like it because of the sounds, but like for me, this is not what I'm looking for in a pop album.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I'm not even looking at it as a pop album really. I'm just kind
Yeah.
of trying to make sense of it, and it just feels like I don't know. It just doesn't click with me. Like
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
just
It
it's
doesn't
kind of
it
hard to put the finger on like one big thing.
Yeah, it doesn't really click with
Um,
me either. Like I can give all these big compliments to her, but at the end of the day when I look at the album as a whole, I'm just kind of underwhelmed.
it's
So
it's definitely very cool. Like there's so much cool stuff going for it, but
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, I think
I
actually
think,
now just talking with you guys, I think it's the album. I wouldn't even say it's pretty good now at this point. I'd say it's just good, because I'm sitting here just kind of reflecting, and I'm just like,
brainwashed you.
yeah, like
I just
re-listening to it, like the what grew on me was just like the sounds themselves. Like I guess I just got used to the sounds, but like I still think they're really good. Like this just got stuck in my head, but like I don't know, it's not something I'd listen to. But I can appreciate it more, like more that I like re-listen to it, I
Hmm.
guess. But I
yeah,
don't.
I think at this point I'm just gonna stick to Joanna Newsom. I think that's just she's my girl. The monkey and the bear. I fucking bro,
Okay.
that song. I don't know why, but like you guys
Banger.
mentioning that just made me think like just about unique voices. I just thought of Joanna Newsom for some reason,
Right. Right.
and her songwriting because it's goofy as fuck.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, I know. I really wish this stick with me, but at least we can highlight some favorite tracks, perhaps. So
Yeah.
Vaughn, give me your top three.
My favorite tracks are ones with like the coolest production. I think it was Numbers that had like a really cool beat at the beginning. Kicks was really cool. Kicks was a really good track. And I like Lights On. Yeah, that's my
Boy,
top
Yeah.
three.
give me your top three.
Lights On, Pendulum, probably Video Girl since it's stuck in my head.
Okay, I'm gonna take Preface. I'm gonna take Lights On, and I'm probably gonna take. I want to say Closer. I think I'm gonna say Closer.
Mhm.
I really just like the first two tracks, and then like everything else just kind of blends and mashes together for me.
Yeah.
But moving on to an album that doesn't mash together, and in fact is one of the best albums of all time. It's a gargantuan album. Um, it's crazy, and it's the classic album because it is a classic. I think now at this point, it's a hip hop classic.
For sure.
Okay, okay. And if you don't agree on this, you can stop watching our podcast
It's
and you can move on. We don't. You're not wanted here. With all due
Honest.
respect. So the album we're talking about is Some Rap Songs by Earl Sweatshirt, picked by none other than the Crinksta, the Quay. Many names, man of many names. I want to let him take the floor and open it up. Talk
All
about
right.
why he chose this. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Some Rap Songs is what I think to be my favorite album of all time. It's definitely my most listened to. Also just cuz you can just listen to it so much. Like all the songs are so brief and it flows together so well and like you loop it and it just goes together like for me this album there's like not a second wasted. Like I've always loved short albums, like albums that are like 10 tracks like Jesus feels like so like just like solid. Like the short
Yeah.
albums are just so solid. And
Compact.
like with some rap songs, that's like to me like the most like solid like shit like ever. Like all his he's just rapping so good throughout the whole thing. Like, he and all the beats are so just like it's like he's bringing sounds from like obviously that's what sampling is, but like he's bringing sounds from the past and like really just making them sound so new and like
Yes.
but still has like this antique sound to them. It's so cool. And like all the lyrics, it's all his lyrics just roll off your tongue so effortlessly. Like when you like learn the lyrics, it's like the most like pleasurable album for me to listen to, and I could just listen to it forever. That's why it's my favorite album. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the sampling on this album. Obviously the lyrics are like a big highlight as well, but for me as a like my favorite thing, one of my favorite things in music is sampling. One of my favorite like art forms in general, and this album does it definitely like one of the best ever in regards to sampling, because it just takes these like the weirdest loops and just makes them like cool as fuck and like catchy and like memorable. And um I mean it's different to Donuts, but it definitely reminds me the way it's like structured, and like one song to the next is like
yeah,
very sudden transitions, but it feels like natural. And um, I don't. I had a more put together way of saying this, and I forgot. But
no, that was pretty good.
it's just like it just sounds fucking cool, dude. And it's like taking the sounds of the past, and it sounds so unique as well. And it sounds like Mike, and there's been a lot of comparisons to that, but I think it's still very unique compared to that.
Hmm.
And also the way he raps, and just like everything. It's a very unique vibe, and the project is structured in a very unique way as well, because it's 25 minutes, and it's kind of a story of just like these depressive moods, and just going through this like the last like four like 3 or 4 tracks especially tell a very vivid story in my head of
Hmm.
just like his like relating to his parents, and Peanut is just like this rock bottom, and then Riot is just like this beautiful, like everything's gonna get better kind of thing. And I really love the story and the progression of this album, and how you can just loop it, and it's like a cycle,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I agree.
Sorry,
And
that was a little rambly.
nah, it's okay. It's okay. Cause I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna do a little story time. All right.
Okay.
So the first time I ever listened to this project, and I'm ashamed to say it, was when it first came out in 2018. Actually, not when it first came out. A couple days after. I
Yeah,
watched a
same.
Fantano review about this album, and I was like, and some of the things he was talking about, I was like, wow, okay. I listened to this album at my mother and stepfather's wedding. Like, I was, and we had this big house because they rented it and stuff like that. I just sat downstairs, like playing pool, just listening to this, and it was just like, it was crushing to listen to for the first time. Because I do remember I listened to the Mint. So it's not like this album wasn't on my radar. More so, I just kind of didn't know when it was gonna drop. Because I wasn't the kind of person who was like, oh shit, what's dropping this Friday? I was just like,
Yeah.
if my friends were like, yo, go listen to that new J Cole album, I'd be like, oh okay, shit, J Cole just dropped, let's go, and that'd be it. But I think when I listened to this album, I just had a moment of like reflection and like almost like a moment of clarity where it was just like, this is what hip hop can be. This is what it can achieve, and it is so special to me. And for some people, they have TPAB to be that. Like this is what hip hop can be. You know what I'm saying? But this really shows out like this is how unique and experimental you can get. Because at the end of the day, sure, Mike was someone who inspired Earl, but I've gone and listened to a bunch of Mike albums, and it doesn't reach this level of cohesion, and it doesn't reach this level of specialty to me, because it is so impactful, and the way each track sounds like just such a movie in and of itself. Like if you were just take away all rapping on it and you would just play each track through, it would be it's so cohesive, and it blows my mind. I just remember like listening to it, and my entire wedding experience was just gloomed by this album, because he talks about the experience of like alcohol abuse and stuff like that. And like I have a father who struggled with that, and so it's just that like listening to this, it almost puts me in the perspective of someone who does all these kind of things and has a lot of time where they need to grieve and stuff like that, because he's very much like talking about that with his father and stuff like that on this project. And it's just such a it represents, I wouldn't want to say depression, but it really does represent that so beautifully, and it shows that there's so much to it, almost that depression is not something that is one dimensional, that there's so many dimensions to it, and it is ever changing. And it's just that, like, also another thing, like Vaughn mentioned, the sampling is it's just absurd to me that like if you were to just give me this beat, Vaughn, and you were like, rap on this, I'd be like, are you
Yeah.
joking? Like, are you
the
fucking with
bass?
me? Like really? Like what? Like,
Yeah.
and I know that there's techniques that they do where like they'll have like the drums in, and then they'll just take the drums out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know like West Side Gun has done that before, and he's kind of adjacent to this kind of style of just like really non-drumless almost. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these songs are
Yeah.
drumless. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just I'm so ever blown away every time I listen to it. Although I don't want to listen to it as much as Quay does, because Quay has an insane amount of listens on this project. Because I am the kind of person where like the music does rub off on me, and every time I listen to some rap songs, I'm just like, fuck. I'm just like, damn. It's so
Yeah.
powerful, and it's almost kind of unfortunate that the fan favorite on this album is at least to normal listeners is Riot, because it's like
Mhm.
it's the track where he doesn't rap on it, and it's
Yeah.
just an outro. And it I wouldn't say it feels disrespectful, because Riot is one of the best songs ever in my opinion, but like nonetheless it's just like, I don't know, it feels
I
bittersweet
kind of feel
almost.
you, but it also is probably my favorite track because of the
Context.
service. Yeah, the
Yeah.
context, the way it adds to the progression and the story of the album,
Yeah.
because it's
Dude.
so fucking cathartic at
It's
the end of the album,
cathartic,
dude.
but it's also like kind of like it scares me a little bit. Like you just listen to Peanut, and that's like one of the most
Yeah,
fucking dark
it could
songs
be
ever.
like a red herring almost, like.
Yeah. And then like and Riot comes in, it's just so like lo-fi and happy. It sounds like it's coming from like a I don't even know, like a circus, like I don't even know. It's not even like like a fucking I don't know, it sounds creepy to me for some reason. You know what
Yeah.
also sounds creepy to me? The beat for Eclipse. That has always
Eclipse.
sounded super scary to me for some reason. Not like super
Yeah.
scary, but like it's been like this beat is like super unsettling.
Eclipse,
And
it stood out to me for when I listened recently, because like I never really paid attention to that song, and now it's like
Oh,
one of my
it's
favorites. Like it's so
it's
cool, dude.
yeah,
It's
it's really
such a
cool.
unique song.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I say that about Riot because it's like I think of like for instance, there's a white girl I know at school, right? Like, she's a big Tyler fan. She loves Tyler. And she listens to some rap songs, but she'll only ever listen to Riot. Like, she doesn't listen
Well,
to
yeah,
anything else on the project.
I get your point where it's like, oh, like finally he's not rapping. It's finally like a normal fucking song, right?
Yeah, and
But
it's just that I feel like that takes away
it
from it.
definitely, like in the context of the album, I love every song,
Yeah.
but
And for me, actually, I have it.
it's still like the culmination of the album to
Yeah.
me. Like,
For me, what Riot seems to me almost is like, you guys say it's like a sense of like catharsis and it like frees him, but like for me it almost feels like a sense of delusion, because it's like
I
he's
yeah.
tripping himself up to make him think like everything will be all right, but that's
I
not
mean,
true.
that's an
Yeah.
interpretation of it for sure.
Yeah, for
and I've
sure.
definitely had different interpretations on different listens, and like, and it's kind of that's another strength of the album. I feel is like the
Yeah.
mood. Like it's not like a direct message. It's very like
Yeah.
there's just he's giving you these sounds and kind of saying like just like what does this sound mean to you, and like how does it affect
Yeah, because then
how
you
you're
listen
feeling
to
right now. And,
yeah, you listen to how it ends, and it's like it's the last 5 seconds is just the beat like kind of warbling out, and then it just
yeah, that's a good
patters
point.
into nothing, and it's just that like it's like, well then shit, like damn,
And
what
then
is there
it's
after?
such a short album. It's kind of asking you to fucking listen again right
Yeah.
after, and then it's right back into the darkness, with
Exactly.
shattered dreams. So
Yeah,
it's
and
kind of
it's just a cycle, and also
yeah,
one of the best album covers. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I
Cool.
always love bringing up the
I
album
love it.
covers. I
Loved
think
it.
it's just almost iconic to me. It's like it's just great.
Reflects the sound of the album like perfectly as well.
I think it
Mhm.
is. It's because you're just being shaken almost. Like, it feels this album is like shaking you. You know what I'm saying? And it's so violent in its way. because in order to produce a picture like that, like if you try shaking your camera, it's kind of hard because your camera will get it sometimes. But if you're really violent with it, like I like taking pictures like this, like it's funny, but like it just shows it, and I don't know, it's so special. Um, Earl's voice on here is so beautiful, and I think you also have to think about the context of from jumping from, I guess, kind of like Doris to I don't like shit to now some rap songs,
Yeah.
because that was a 3-year period, and when did he get sent off to, what was it, like Samoa or something like that?
No,
Like
it was like 2013, 2012, right after Earl's mixtape. So like
okay,
2000,
that was in 2010. Okay, so yeah, you see, like
2012.
he came back and he started to just go deeper and deeper and deeper. So it's like he just got progressively worse and worse. Because you look at
Yeah.
Doris, and Doris
There's
still has
definitely a
some,
logical progression, but it's still kind of startling. Just like
yeah, because
going from I don't like
yeah,
shit even to some rap songs.
yeah, and it's just this album is so introspective, and I mean, given what the substance and the topics that it is, but like even the beats in and of themselves, like listening to Shattered Dreams, like I'm just like I'm shaken by like Shattered Dreams, because like
Mhm.
that dream just it puts you in a sense of just like I don't know, dude. Everything feels so gray when I listen to this album, and it's no album really makes me like feel that almost. And so I think upon this re-listen, I think I can actually like safely say like this is probably my favorite hip hop album ever. Um,
Yeah.
it's passed up everything else for me now because it's just I think the lyricism on here is also so amazing because like there's practically barely any rhyming, and it breaks all boundaries of what I think hip hop can be and what it can achieve. And
Yeah.
that isn't to say that like hip hop can't go great leaps and bounds to make an amazing album. T-Pab is a fucking amazing album, but I still think that like this album breaks the box. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're thinking inside the box, if I don't know, it's just I'm not trying to discredit T-Pab, but it's just that like I was thinking about those two albums a lot because they're both big gargantuans in their camps, where you have T-Pab is the all-encompassing hip hop album, but then you have something like some rap songs that's just like your experimental. You know what I'm saying? And you always have these two sides fighting each other, where it's just that like this album just wins out for me in such I wouldn't say a clear way, but kind of a clear way. Um, and I don't know. I'm just so moved by this album, and I don't know many albums that I think can move me. So I think also like upon re-listen, like this album is my favorite hip hop album, and it's also like a 10, I think probably.
Fuck
So
I
yeah.
would
yeah, no,
respect that for sure.
it blows me away. I can't think of a problem like I there's not a single moment I have where I'm just like I'm taking issue with it. I think.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
for sure.
It's so tight. It's fucking solid as fucking like
Yeah,
steel.
there's
Like,
there's no fat, there's no filler, there's no anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The only reason for personally that I don't rank this like exactly with To Pimp a Butterfly is like one of my favorite like hip hop albums. I mean it is like up there for sure, but it's
Yeah.
not like number one or like top three or whatever. It's just like I don't come back to it that much, but when I do, I listen like 3 times in a row. So obviously it's fucking amazing. Obviously it's a masterpiece. It's just a flawless album for sure.
Yeah, and I think where some rap songs grips me over To Pimp a Butterfly is that I think To Pimp a Butterfly plays within the box that of what hip hop is and stuff like that, and it does it
I don't
masterfully.
agree with that. I don't agree with
Well,
that.
hold on. Well, of
But
course, there's songs like You and stuff like that, but like at the end of the day, I can still
I
definitely
mean,
like
obviously compared to this album, it probably
yeah,
does.
of
But
course, but
yeah.
like but then
I think
also
To Pimp a Butterfly conceptually is more ambitious, but this album
of
is
course, yeah, I will say that.
Mhm.
production wise, it's more out there and it's more personal. It feels more personal. So
Yeah,
I
but
can definitely see like getting attached to this over
mhm.
To Pimp a
and
Butterfly.
and where it happens with To Pimp a Butterfly for me is that like when I listen to it, I'm like, this is some master shit. But it doesn't move me in any which way almost, whereas some rap songs does. Like I'm not saying it doesn't
I
move me, but it doesn't move me nearly as much as some rap
I,
songs.
th- I well personally, To Pimp a Butterfly is probably one of the most moving albums to me.
No, that's
So,
fair. That's and
but
it
like
there is a
I
sense there, yeah.
definitely understand like how this album would grip you more, and it's just like more of a personal adventure and more of a personal
Yeah,
like feelings and going into it. But I
because
mean
it's like
I don't know. It's kind of a stupid comparison to me, but it's like just To Pimp a Butterfly is just like such a different album. But
No, and it's true. It's just that like I like bringing up the discourse that people talk about a lot, and these two albums for some reason get pitted against each other, and I think it just adds for a more interesting experience to kind of have this kind of comparison and stuff like that.
yeah,
Um, but it's just that like oh man, I lost my train of thought, and I think that just happens with something like this because it's I don't know, man. I just am blown away.
Many
Like
facets.
yeah,
When I first listened to this album, I want to talk about when I first listened to this album.
go ahead. Yeah, I want to
So,
hear it.
I've always been a huge Earl Sweatshirt fan since I Don't Like Shit dropped. I was just the biggest Earl fan. Like the way that he raps like really like sticks in my head. Like it feels like he's rapping like the way that I like think. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
just how I feel about Earl. That's how I've always felt about Earl. And so he's been my favorite rapper for like a long time. And then he dropped Nowhere to Go as the single, and I just could not put that song down.
Yeah,
I remember like going to the bathroom in school and just listening to that song. Like I was so addicted to that song. And yeah, and then the night that it dropped, I'd just come home from a Travis Scott concert actually. And yeah, and I just put on my headphones, took a rip of the cart, and I could not believe my fucking ears. Like it was a 10 on first listen. Like
yeah.
I don't know. I just it was exactly what I wanted from Earl. That is exactly like what I wanted. Like I don't know. Like it was so like I don't know. Like it's so conceptually powerful, and like somehow it's more emotionally riveting than I Don't Like Shit, which is like one of the darkest albums.
Another
Like I don't know.
powerful
It's
album for sure.
it's yeah, I just couldn't believe it. Uh, but yeah, that's the first time I listened to it. It's yeah.
Yeah, that sounds insane. Yeah, no, like
I don't really remember my first listen, but I definitely remember like it took me a couple times to get it for sure. Like I wasn't I wasn't blown away first listen, but maybe like second and third I was kind of like, okay, this is
Mhm.
kind of
I just thought
good.
it was so like riveting. Just like I was like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? Like
My-
these
my-
are
Yeah.
beats. Like goddamn. Like I only know fucking hi hats and fucking like triplets and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
I'm just like I don't know, dude. Cause to preface, I was someone who was like barely kind of getting into music, and I wouldn't even say at this time I was like a really huge Tyler fan. Like I liked him. I liked Flower Boy and stuff like that, but I wasn't huge on him. And I was barely even like really digging deep into music and stuff like that. Like I knew a lot of stuff, but I was only really like a big J. Cole and like Kevin Gates fan, and I fuck with Travis Scott. But I think this album really started to plunge me into like hip hop as a whole and the underground scene. And I think that's what it does for a lot of people. I think maybe that's why a lot of people don't return to it, or maybe they kind of like shove it to the side because they know they'll always have it, but they want to find something new. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't think they're gonna find something as good as this. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't think you'll find something in this kind of style, in this kind of vein. I don't even know what people call it slums. I don't really know if I'm
Well,
gonna recognize that yet.
yeah.
I don't.
That's not a genre. It's really just a group of
collective.
people.
Is it? It's a collective. I thought it was like people were
Yeah,
using it
no,
as like
it's not
a describer for a
Yeah.
genre.
It can be because like they kind of started the sound, but it's like
Yeah. Well, no, because
Yeah.
people like Red Veil get put in that group and shit like that, where it's
The
like
Yeah.
time slums, but
yeah.
yeah.
And it's just that like I don't think the underground has reached a level like this yet. And I don't really want to call Earl like an underground rapper because he kind of isn't. Like come on, it's Earl Sweatshirt. Like he's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah,
He's not gonna
but
he's not gonna sell out stadiums, but he's not gonna play at a small venue with like 100 people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like he's gonna be playing at something big. And it's also funny that people expect Earl Sweatshirt to be like a good performer. I always find that funny. It's like, are you listening to the music? Like maybe with Titanic, you know, like I mean not Titanic, Sick. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the song
Yeah,
Titanic.
Sick.
Maybe with like Sick, like yeah, sure, he'll be a better performer. But like, how do you think you could listen to this and not like?
yeah, like moshing to some rap.
Yeah.
Not even moshing, just
The-
more so
the
just
meme
like
of the
this is
whole
not an
thing.
album for a public setting or a public space. This is so
Mhm.
personal, and that's also going back to what Vaughn said, how vulnerable he is on this album. Like I don't. It actually is absurd to me how someone could lay bare all of their issues on a table and on a platter for you to just look at. Like I really feel like I'm stepping inside to his brain and kind of this is how he feels, and it's like it feels like I'm putting on a helmet and it's just
Yeah.
him. And it's funny because I also just watched yesterday Being John Malkovich, and now just
Oh,
expressing that idea, like I think of that, like I'm like seeing through his eyes and shit like that. It's like I don't know why, it's
Yeah.
just I'm just
yeah.
randomly connecting loose things, and I know it sounds goofy, but it's just that like I don't
No,
know
I
I
why,
mean
feel
like
that.
that's
just
kind of what this album does too in a way with all the samples and
yeah,
the
and think it's
crazy use
Mhm.
also
of
like it's
words.
also super fucking short.
His use of words is so fucking cool on every
Yeah.
album, but especially this album and
Yeah.
Sick. He just raps in such a unique way.
Yeah, and
Um,
and his
yeah.
structure too is like all the double entendres. The like literally the first time I ever heard the word double entendre was when someone was describing this album. I was like,
That's fire.
what is that? Like I was like, and so I was like, oh wait. And there was times where like I would just sit there and just kind of look at the lyrics. I wouldn't even listen to the album. I just read it like as if it was poetry.
Mhm.
Because it is practically
Yeah, it
poetry.
is.
Earl is such a well-spoken person. His mother and his father were very prolific people. Like I don't know if y'all ever watched the Mocha Conversation with like Cheryl Harris, that his mom.
I haven't.
That
Yeah.
shit, or yeah, Cheryl Harris is his mom. That conversation is beautiful. It's just him and his mom talking about certain aspects of life and stuff like that. And they talk about his father, and it was I couldn't even imagine being there at that venue. It was like 200, 300 people were there just listening to that conversation. It's just so beautiful to watch, and it's so crazy to see how Earl evolved from that 2010 self-titled mixtape to like this, you know what I'm saying, and where he is now. And I don't know, it's just so beautiful. But at the same time, I don't want him to make something like this ever again. I don't think so.
Right.
Because it's such
Mhm.
a dark moment in his life, and I'm
It's like
so
at what
glad.
cost?
Yeah, I said I'm glad that he's like went with the sick route, like with
Yeah,
that album.
same.
That it's a lot more happier, but it's still also in the same style. You know what I'm saying? Where
Mhm.
this
Yeah.
just feels like it almost feels like making these songs were painful for him, and that he just put all of the pain that he had making this album into the songs. And it's just that like a beat like Cold Summers is just so fucking crazy, and the way he just starts off, we roll tundras, and it's
Mhm.
just like, and then the
Yeah,
beat fucking kicks
that's what I'm
off.
talking
It's
about,
just
the lyrics too. Like
oh my god,
it's
dude.
so I think lyrically this is like peak abstract hip hop.
Yeah.
Oh
Just
yeah,
because the
yeah,
way he just I don't know, dude. Like as someone like really into to English and rhetoric and words and shit, like it's just like fucking mind blowing. It's so like cool as fuck.
yeah. It just he threw like every confine like out the window. He just said, "Fuck it, no, I'm doing it." Like, and I don't like the people who like rip on him and just are just being like, "Oh, this is fucking Mike. Like, just go listen to Mike." It's like,
Yeah.
no, like
That's stupid. Okay,
I
yeah, because Mike is a very different artist, and I love Mike,
I
but
love
Mhm.
Mike,
it's
but
just
I
Yeah,
don't
same.
think.
it's
Yeah,
just
I
different.
love Mike too. I love like Way of the World. I love Disco
Not the
from last
same.
year. They're not the
Disco,
same.
yeah,
Yes.
one of my favorite
Mhm.
albums from last year.
Yeah, it's just that like this is just so fucking crazy. I just like nothing paints a picture more in my head than some rap songs sometimes. Like
Yeah,
the idea of like gloom and depression and just kind of all these things. It's just it's so fucking crazy how well it paints a picture in my head, and it's just so beautiful. I don't know. I just get moved by it every time, and I've cried to this album a couple times too. I don't think
Yeah, man.
I feel like a lot of people have probably cried at this album because it's just so fucking impactful. I think especially if you have someone in your life who like deals with like alcohol troubles and just kind of like is very depressed and stuff like that. Like it hits a lot harder. Um, because I don't know, it just puts into perspective a lot of things between me and my father, and it's just kind of crazy. Especially because about a lot of this album is about him mourning his father's death and stuff like that, and just kind of like I don't know, it's so fucking crazy. It's I hate to be so sad, so saddening and trauma dumping, but it's not
Yeah.
that. I would just say more so it helps me put the album into perspective a lot more, and
Mhm. And
it's
also
beautiful.
another thing I'll add is like, so like I have like a lot of listens on this album. And I tell people how many listens I have. People are like, "Bro, are you okay? You must be like hella depressed." And it's like not like yeah, it's a depressing album and it like really gets an emotional like response out of me sometimes. But sometimes like some of these songs just like the grooves, like I don't know.
yeah,
I just love listening to it. Like just the way that like he raps, it just flows so easily. It just sounds so correct. Like it just makes so much sense to me. Like I don't know, like that's the thing about this album. It's so entertaining, but you can get so much out of it at the same time, and that's just really what I love about it. And it's so short, and I don't know. I just like know it like the back of my hand. I feel like it's just I
yeah,
don't know, my
Yeah.
favorite.
No, it's just that like there's moments on the album where like the words are just almost like blending together because it's like you're just having such a hard time staying kind of conscious, and I feel like that's like that gives in so much to the album, that it's like when you're clouded by so much grief and when you're clouded by so
Mhm.
much just like dark thoughts, everything just kind of meshes together, and it's
Yeah.
so hard to stay focused. But then like, ah, no, it's just fucking crazy. Because I think of like a song like The Mint, where like the mint almost just kind of starts to blend for me, and it's just that like I get lost. But the only words I remember are like "Hold Me Down." You know what I'm saying? It's just like the way
Yeah.
the song opens up. The Mint is so beautiful too. Like every track on here is beautiful, but just like
Yes.
I the way you can make something so beautiful out of something so dark and so saddening is just so fucking impactful to me. It's just like, damn. Like I wish I
This
could make something like this in any form of medium.
the simplicity of it is really just incredible. Like how much you can get out of the simplicity. He didn't have to do like all that like he didn't like the difference between this and like FKA Twigs. Like they're like two completely different. Like FKA Twigs like really wanted to utilize the production, but here, um, like I don't know, it's just so simple and it it really just I don't know, it gets the job done.
Yeah, no,
I
and
love
it
it.
feels like at times like the beats are just like falling apart, and I fucking love that. Like
Yeah.
Well,
it
yeah,
just
Like,
I love
looking up.
it's simple in like structure and like
Mhm.
execution, but it's not simple like when you're listening to it. It's not simple like in your mind, like what it does
Yeah, for sure.
for you. You know, like it's like the
That's what's
effects
so
of it.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's just damn, it's so crazy. And I love playing Possum too. That's a great track.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like that's a much needed, like I wouldn't even say it's an interlude because that doesn't make any sense, but like it's
Yeah.
definitely much needed. I think it puts so much, excuse me, into perspective. It's just it's so fucking beautiful. It's so touching how like I said, how one could lay bare like all of their issues and stuff on such an album. It's just like it's like what the fuck? Like I don't know. Oh man. But are there any last words before we get into our favorite tracks? Anything we want to add in?
Um, I think I've said everything.
Bon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite tracks.
All right, Quay, give me your top three, bro.
December 24th.
Ooh.
Um, let's see, bro. December 24th. Fucking The Mint, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And oh my God, bro. Azucar. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
good. Yeah. I have a very like normie top three, but
Mhm.
I love every song, but my favorites are Riot, The Mint, and Shattered Dreams.
Yeah. Okay. I fuck with that top three. I'm
You
gonna
didn't
have
hear it, you took off your headphones.
no. I heard it. Like I could hear it. Yeah. It was a good
No,
top three.
I don't think so. I don't
I'm
think
gonna give
so.
you. Can I give you a shout out for the top three? Okay. Anyways, my top three is gonna have to actually be my favorite song ever. It's just I think it's like. Well, it's not my favorite song ever. I'm sorry, but my favorite song on this project, at least, and it's always. I don't think it's ever really changed. Has been the Mint. I
Yep.
just think it's so powerful. Then I'm gonna take the Bends probably.
Mm.
And then I'm gonna take Veins actually.
Ooh.
Nice.
I love Veins.
Deep
Um,
cut.
yeah, cause the of my heart is just so like damn.
So
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Of my heart, it's just like damn, dude. Um, but yeah, no, I don't. Do what? Also, another thing is like, do I think Earl can maybe ever reach this level again? I don't know. I don't think. Maybe it's not even something to even like bring up. I would at some point. I think I would hope not. I would hope he doesn't hit this level again, cause I
Yeah,
think.
I think if he does, it's not gonna be in the same like it's not gonna be the same sound.
Of course not.
Like at
No,
least,
no.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want
So
him, like I said, I don't want him to make another album like this. I want him to be happy. I want Earl to live a good fucking life. He deserves it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
for
Yeah.
sure.
Love
especially
it.
after making something like this and just having all the problems that he had. Um, yeah, I want him to live a good life. But nah, it's just fucking beautiful. Great music discussion on all of your parts. We discussed some great
Beautiful.
ditties, some great collection of ditties today.
Yep.
But nah, big love to Earl Sweatshirt. Big love to FK
Huge
Twigs.
love. Huge love.
And then not so much big love to Dreamville. Like y'all are cool, but like let's go back to the drawing board. Let's figure some shit out real quick.
Drawing
Yeah.
table, yeah.
No, did you see that
No.
photo of like Ari Lennox with the song titles and shit? Like it's funny as fuck. She's funny, but like there was one track called like
I
it was called like like Pikachu sex or some shit like that. Like,
What?
it's so goofy. She's got like 90 tracks on like this like board and.
I like her one song, BMO. BMO is a fire
Oh,
song.
yeah.
I don't know if anyone. Yeah, that
BMO.
song is fire. But
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I'm gonna add that I do like Ari Lennox's voice. I like it.
Oh, you
but
do?
the
Okay.
song- I think Sis is obviously better, but I put down in my notes. I like her voice, but those songs are
You
just.
do like her voice.
Those
Yeah.
songs were just
I don't know if I dislike her voice, but on those songs, I don't really like her voice.
fair.
Like,
Yeah.
I like it. I like it on some features that I've heard. I think she's on a song on For Your Eyes Only, which is like a really good song. But,
Yeah. Yeah. No. So like,
Um,
I'm looking at the photo right now, and she's got a track called Winnie the Pooh, and she's also got a track called like. Oh no, it's called Pikachu Attack. That's what it's called. The track is literally just called Pikachu. There's
Is this
one
for her
called,
album?
I don't know. I don't know. She just released it. Like a photo of her like showing off these track titles. One is called Everything Bagel. One is also like there's so track 63 and 64 go married and then running. like I don't know. It's just funny as fuck. Like I'm looking at this photo and it's just like she's such a troll, low key. Like she's got a track called Honey Bourbon.
okay.
I don't.
I mean, that's a fire name though.
That is
That's-
kind of a
that's
fire name, but
Honey
it's just
Bourbon.
it makes me laugh. I don't know.
That's
She's
a very like R&B like sensual type
Mm.
of
yeah. Nah, but anyways, I don't know why I brought that up. I just when I brought up Ari Lennox, that's all I can think of her showing this photo, and just there's a track called Pikachu Attack on it. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we want to
Ladies
give
and gentlemen.
we want to give a big shout out to Todd Edwards. We love him.
Yep.
Quay is a fan of Todd Edwards.
Love
right?
Todd Edwards.
Yes.
He's the goat. We
Dude.
give a shout out every episode.
Fucking
We're never gonna
goat.
forget him.
Shout out.
He's our goat. We love him. We want to give a big shout out to Quay for coming onto the podcast, bro. You were
For
fucking.
sure, of
We love you
course.
so much, Quay. You're an icon.
Beautiful
in every
music
way.
discussion.
You're a living legend. You walk and breathe just greatness. So we love you, bro.
Yeah, you too, you
and
too.
then Quay. I mean not Quay. No, fuck you, Quay. Vaughn. Actually, I have nothing good to say about you right now. But like,
Fuck you, dude. Like
It's okay,
Oh my
bro.
god, always hating on me.
Thank you guys for having me. You guys are wonderful discussion hosts. You
Thank
guys.
Thank you,
you
bro.
guys
appreciate
did
it.
a great job.
nah, thank
I
you. But
appreciate you.
I'm gonna say goodbye, Vaughn. Can I say goodbye? Or do you want to say
Yeah.
goodbye?
You
Okay,
can say goodbye.
ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.